It started with a whisper, a single recording, a few damning words. Then, within hours, it spread like wildfire. An entire corporation rocked by a scandal no one saw coming. But for the black employees of Sterling and Holt Global, this was no surprise. They had endured it for years. Dismissive looks, unspoken barriers, quiet meetings where their worth was questioned behind closed doors. Until one day the mask slipped, and the world finally heard what was really being said behind the polished doors of power. The Sterling and Holt Global headquarters stood like a steel monolith in the heart of the city, its towering glass windows reflecting the setting sun in golden hues. To the outside world, it was a beacon of corporate excellence, sleek, powerful, untouchable. Inside, the air buzzed with urgency. Keyboards clacked, phones rang, conversations hummed in hushed tones. But beneath the professional facade, a quiet tension simmered, lingering like an unspoken secret. On the 20th floor, in the executive boardroom, that tension was about to boil over. The room was a testament to power: polished oak table, sleek black leather chairs, and floor-to-ceiling windows that offered a breathtaking view of the skyline. But the people inside had no interest in the view. At the head of the table stood Richard Alden, the CEO, the man who built this empire. His silver hair was neatly combed, his tailored suit flawless, his piercing blue eyes scanning the room with quiet authority. A legend in the business world, a man whose word was law. And right now, that law was about to be rewritten. Seated closest to him were three employees: Maya Thompson, Andre Carter, and Lisa Brooks, all black, all brilliant, all used to fighting twice as hard to be taken seriously. But today, even their resilience would be tested. Richard exhaled slowly, his fingers tapping against the table. The silence stretched, thick and suffocating. Then, in a voice so calm it was chilling, he spoke. "This company is failing because we lowered our standards." Maya's spine stiffened. Andre's jaw tensed. Lisa's hands curled into fists beneath the table. Richard continued, his voice laced with feigned disappointment. "We pushed this whole diversity agenda, convinced ourselves that handing out opportunities based on skin color instead of skill would lead to innovation. And what has it brought us?" He let the question hang, his smirk almost imperceptible. "Failure." The words hit like a slap. Maya's heart pounded. She had sat in this very room countless times, had heard coded language, microaggressions disguised as leadership, but this was different. This was blatant. Andre leaned forward, his voice controlled but simmering with barely concealed fury. "Are you saying the reason we lost that deal is because of diversity?" Richard chuckled, a low, humorless sound. "I am saying the numbers do not lie. This company was built on merit. We used to be the best. And now," he gestured toward them, a lazy wave of his hand, "we are just checking boxes." Lisa inhaled sharply, her fingers tightening around the edge of the table. "We have led multi-million-dollar projects. We have brought in clients, secured deals. And yet, when something goes wrong, we are the ones you blame." Richard shrugged. "It is not personal. It is just reality." Maya spoke then, her voice steady but cold. "Reality? Reality is that we are the ones keeping this company afloat. Reality is that incompetence has no color. But bias? That is a different story." A flicker of something, irritation, amusement, crossed Richard's face. "Come on, Maya. Do not make this about race." She let out a slow breath, willing herself to stay calm. "You already did." A tense silence followed. Then, Richard laughed, shaking his head. "You really think you can do something about this?" Maya pushed back her chair and stood. The movement was slow, deliberate. "This meeting is over." Richard's smirk faltered. "Excuse me?" Andre and Lisa rose with her. Maya met Richard's gaze, unwavering. "And I have a feeling HR and legal would be very interested in this conversation." A flicker of unease crossed Richard's face. But only for a second. Maya turned, leading the way out. The moment the boardroom doors closed behind them, Lisa exhaled shakily. "That was bad," she murmured. Andre ran a hand over his face. "That was career-ending." Maya's phone buzzed. A single message flashed across the screen. "Check your email. Now, ****. She opened it. And there it was. An audio file. Someone had recorded the conversation, and before the day was over, the world would hear it. Maya's hands trembled as she held her phone, staring at the audio file. It felt like a time bomb ticking in her grasp. Lisa peered over her shoulder. Who sent it? Maya's fingers moved swiftly, checking the sender. Anonymous. Andre exhaled sharply. Someone in that room recorded him. Someone who wants this to come out. Maya's mind raced. This was their chance. Asterisk, asterisk, irrefutable proof, asterisk, asterisk of Richard Alden's blatant racism. But exposure came with risks. Richard was powerful. He had connections, money, and influence. If they went public, the backlash would be immediate. Lisa bit her lip. If we release this, we could lose everything. Andre met Maya's gaze. But if we do nothing, we let him win. The hallway outside the boardroom was eerily quiet. A storm was coming. Maya could feel it. She took a deep breath. We do this smart. No leaks, no rushed decisions. We move carefully. Andre nodded. We need to strategize. Lisa sighed, rubbing her temples. We need a lawyer. Maya glanced down at her phone again. There was no turning back now. That night, Maya sat at her kitchen table, the glow of her laptop illuminating her face. The city stretched outside her window, endless and indifferent. Her inbox was filled with messages from colleagues. Some outraged, some terrified, some begging her not to go through with this. She understood their fear. Richard Alden was not just a CEO. He was a force. He could blacklist them, bury them in legal fees, ruin their careers before they even knew what hit them. But something inside her had shifted. She thought about every time she had swallowed her anger, every microaggression she had ignored, every promotion she had been overlooked for. Not this time. A soft chime interrupted her thoughts. A new message. From Anonymous. Subject. There's more. Maya's pulse quickened. Attached were multiple files. Asterisk, asterisk recordings, emails, documents, asterisk, asterisk. Her stomach dropped as she clicked play on the first audio file. Richard's voice came through, sharp and clear. Asterisk, we need to clean house. Too many quotas, too much dead weight. We need people who actually belong here. Asterisk. Maya's breath caught in her throat. She played another. Asterisk, if they complain, let them. The media loves a good sob story, but in the end, money talks. Asterisk. In another. Asterisk, find a reason to fire them. Make it look like underperformance. Asterisk. Her hands shook. This was not just one incident. This was systemic, calculated, deliberate. Lisa's words from earlier echoed in her mind. Asterisk, we need a lawyer. Asterisk. Maya picked up her phone and dialed. By the next morning, the fire had already begun to spread. An anonymous tip had reached the Herald, a major news outlet known for exposing corporate corruption. By noon, journalists were calling, emailing, digging. The company's PR team scrambled to control the damage, but it was too late. The story had legs, and it was running. Inside Sterling and Holt, the air was thick with panic. Employees whispered in break rooms. Executives locked themselves in meetings. HR was in chaos. And Richard? Richard was furious. His office door slammed open as his right-hand man, David Lawson, stormed in, his face pale. It is all over the news, Richard. The board is calling an emergency meeting. Richard's jaw tightened. Who leaked it? David hesitated. That does not matter now. What matters is... Richard cut him off, his voice dangerously low. Find out who did this. David swallowed hard. Even if we do, we have bigger problems. Investors are pulling out. Our stocks are already dropping. If this spirals... Richard clenched his fists. For the first time in his career, he was losing control. Maya, Andre, and Lisa sat in a quiet corner. Their lawyer, Jordan Blake, seated across from them. Jordan was sharp, one of the best in corporate law, and, more importantly, someone who did not back down from a fight. He tapped a folder on the table. This is big, bigger than a single lawsuit. Maya nodded. We want justice, but we also want change. Real change. Jordan leaned back, studying them. Then you need more than just a lawsuit. You need a movement. Lisa frowned. What do you mean? Jordan placed his hands on the table. If you sue, it is just another corporate scandal. It will get buried in a few months. But if you take this to the public, if you expose everything, you do more than just take him down. You force accountability. Andre exhaled. That means going public with our names. Maya felt the weight of it settle over her. It means risking everything. Jordan nodded. Yes, but it also means changing everything. A heavy silence followed. Then Maya straightened her shoulders. We do it. Lisa let out a slow breath. We do it. Andre met their eyes and nodded. Let's burn this whole thing down. Jordan smiled. Then let's get to work. The next morning, the storm hit with full force. By 8 a.m., #Racism Exposed was trending across every major social media platform. Headlines blared the news. Sterling and Holt CEO caught in racist tirade. Employees demand justice. The leaked recordings spread like wildfire. Every word Richard Alden had spoken in that boardroom, every racist, dismissive remark, was now public knowledge. Clips played on television screens across the country. News anchors dissected his words. Legal analysts speculated about corporate liability. And the public? The public was outraged. Maya sat in her car outside the office building, her phone buzzing nonstop with notifications. Messages poured in, some from old colleagues offering support, others from strangers sharing their own stories of workplace discrimination. For years, people had endured this in silence. Not anymore. Andre's voice crackled through her Bluetooth. Did you see the latest article? Investors are threatening to pull their funding. Richard is cornered. Lisa chimed in. And the board cannot protect him anymore. The public wants blood. Maya exhaled slowly, gripping the steering wheel. They had started this. Now they needed to finish it. Inside Sterling and Holt, chaos reigned. Richard Alden stood in his glass-walled office, staring at the stock numbers plummeting across the screen. Every tick downward felt like a punch to his gut. His phone buzzed again, another angry voicemail from a major client pulling their business. The knock on his door was sharp, impatient. David Lawson entered, his expression grim. The board wants to see you. Richard's lips curled into a snarl. Let them wait. David did not move. You do not understand. This is not a request. The shareholders are demanding action. They are calling an emergency vote. Richard's blood ran cold. An emergency vote meant only one thing. They were preparing to remove him. He forced a laugh, though it rang hollow in the quiet office. They would not dare. David held his gaze. They will, Richard. And this time, you cannot buy your way out of it. While the boardroom boiled with tension, Maya, Andre, and Lisa were meeting with Jordan Blake in his law office. The energy in the room was electric. Jordan spread a stack of legal briefs across the polished table. This is more than just a wrongful termination suit. With these recordings and the testimonies we have gathered, we are looking at a class action lawsuit. Lisa's eyes widened. A class action suit means anyone affected by Richard's policies can join us. Jordan nodded. Exactly. And the media pressure is already working in your favor. Public sentiment is on your side. Maya leaned forward, her voice clear and determined. We want real change. Not just an apology. We want policies rewritten. We want safeguards so this never happens again. Andre's jaw tightened. And we want Richard gone. Permanently. Jordan smiled. Then let us take him down, piece by piece. The emergency board meeting was held behind closed doors, but whispers leaked like water through a cracked dam. At the head of the table sat Evelyn Chambers, the board chairwoman, a sharp-eyed woman known for cutthroat decisions and a zero-tolerance attitude toward scandals. She fixed Richard with a steely glare. This is no longer a debate. The damage you have caused is irreversible. Richard's hands clenched into fists beneath the table. You owe your success to me. Evelyn's voice cut through his bravado like a blade. And now we owe our downfall to you. A tense pause. Then she turned to the others. We will take a vote. Effective immediately. Do we remove Richard Alden as chief executive officer? One by one, hands raised around the table. It was unanimous. Richard Alden's reign was over. By the time the official statement was released, the media was already buzzing. Richard Alden has officially resigned as CEO of Sterling and Holt Global, effective immediately. It was a carefully crafted lie. Everyone knew the truth. He had been forced out. Public reaction was swift and fierce. Some celebrated his removal, while others demanded deeper accountability. But for Maya, Andre, and Lisa, the fight was far from over. Weeks later, Maya stood on a stage beneath the glaring lights of a packed press conference. Behind her stood dozens of current and former employees, asterisk asterisk black, brown, and others who had been silenced for too long, asterisk asterisk. She adjusted the microphone. We did not come here to destroy a company. We came here to save it, by demanding dignity, fairness, and true equity. Applause swelled through the crowd. Andre stepped forward next. This is not just about us. This is about every worker who has been passed over, silenced, or told they do not belong. And we will not stop here. Lisa's voice rang with emotion. We are not victims. We are fighters. And to anyone facing injustice, asterisk asterisk, your voice matters. Speak up. We will stand with you, asterisk asterisk. By the end of the year, Sterling and Holt Global had transformed. A new CEO was appointed, someone with a proven record of advancing equity. Comprehensive diversity reforms were implemented, monitored by an independent council. Promotion and pay audits became mandatory to ensure fair practices. And the class action lawsuit? It resulted in the largest corporate settlement in the company's history, compensating employees who had suffered under Richard Alden's leadership. But for Maya, Andre, and Lisa, their victory was not just measured in money. It was in the messages flooding their inboxes. Because of you, I found my voice. Thank you for fighting for all of us. And most importantly, you changed everything. Maya stood on her apartment balcony that evening, the city lights twinkling like distant stars. Her phone buzzed. A new message from Anonymous. Just 3 words. You did it. She smiled softly. Yes, they did. And nothing would ever be the same again. The fall of Richard Alden was more than just a corporate scandal. It was a turning point. Other companies began facing scrutiny as employees shared their own stories of workplace racism and discrimination. News outlets ran special reports on systemic biases in hiring and promotions. Social media was flooded with personal accounts under the viral hashtag #KarmaHitsHard. The fight had begun at Sterling and Holt, but its impact spread far beyond those glass office walls. For decades, Richard Alden had been untouchable. Now he was a pariah. The once celebrated CEO was shunned by former colleagues, abandoned by his high-powered connections, and blacklisted from major corporations. His name was synonymous with disgrace. Reporters camped outside his gated mansion, eager for a statement. But Richard Alden had nothing to say. His accounts had taken a hit. Investors withdrew support, lawsuits loomed, and personal lawsuits for emotional damages stacked against him. A year ago, he was the most powerful man in the room. Now, he was just another fallen businessman. Asterisk asterisk, a cautionary tale of unchecked arrogance, asterisk asterisk. For Maya, Andre, and Lisa, the fight was not over. They had won their battle, but they knew millions of others were still facing the same struggles. With their newfound platform, they launched an initiative, asterisk asterisk, the Workplace Equity Foundation, asterisk asterisk, focused on fighting discrimination in corporate spaces. Their mission? Heavy Checkmark provide legal support for employees facing racial injustice. Heavy Checkmark expose unfair practices through investigative journalism. Heavy Checkmark advocate for workplace reforms at a national level. They had taken down a toxic CEO. Now, they were building something greater. A year after the scandal, Sterling and Holt looked nothing like the company it once was. A new CEO, a woman of color with a track record for equity and inclusion, took the helm. New policies ensured transparency in promotions, pay equity, and diversity hiring. And most importantly, the company no longer feared accountability. It embraced it. One evening, Maya, Andre, and Lisa sat together in a small cafe, reflecting on their journey. Andre chuckled, shaking his head. Can you believe it? We started as 3 employees trying to keep our jobs. Now, we are running a movement. Lisa smirked. Funny how karma works, right? Maya sipped her coffee, staring out the window at the city skyline. We did what needed to be done, and if we have to do it again, we will. Their fight was never just about them. It was about every black employee who had ever been dismissed, ignored, or silenced. And they were never going to stop fighting, because now the world was finally listening. If you believe in justice, accountability, and equal opportunity, then this story should not end here. Speak up. Expose discrimination. Demand change. Because karma hits hard, and the fight is far from over.